Hey, what's up guys? I'm Darren. Welcome back to yet another video. Now I'm recording this video on New Year's Eve, but by the time it comes out, it's obviously 2023, so I hope you guys have a happy new year filled with positive health, financial health, mental health, physical health, all that good stuff. But obviously this is a financial-based channel, so that's what we're gonna lean more towards to this time. Everybody has financial goals, and they're gonna be a little bit different because everybody's dealing with something different. For me, obviously, I just moved into a house, and now I'm having to pay a bit more on that than I was previously. I'm also getting married, so a lot of money is being contributed to preparing for this wedding. But with that being said, I have these financial goals that I hope to accomplish in 2023. So I have this ultimate financial goal that I hope to achieve by the end of the year, but to get there, I have 3 separate finance-based goals that I hope to accomplish along the way. The first goal is going to be the debt relief goal. The second one's going to be the investing goal. And the third one's going to be the income goal. So the first finance-based goal, the debt relief goal, is going to surround my credit cards or my credit debt. My credit card debt is one major part of the debt that I have that I need to pay off. Now, I want to be transparent on this channel because I feel like that's fair when I want to try to connect with you guys so we can all share information and help each other out on this financial journey, but at the same time, I'm not going to be completely transparent at the moment. So what I will say is that I have 2 credit cards that have balances on them, and the balances on those 2 cards together is less than $10,000, but we're just gonna say for the sake of this video, it is $10,000. And my goal for this year is to pay at least half of that off, or at least one of those credit cards off. Now, there are 2 strategic ways that I know of that you can pay off credit card debt, or just multiple different forms of debt. And the first one is called the snowball method. With the snowball method, you're paying off multiple debts by attacking the one with the smallest balance first and going higher and higher and higher. So for example, if you have 3 different credit cards and the first one is only charging you $50 a month, you pay that $50 a month until you pay it off. Then the next one charges you $75 a month. You pay that $75 on top of the $50 that you paid from the previous one. So that's what, $125. And then the third one, when you get there, is $100 a month, but then you pay that off on top of the $175 that you would pay off from the previous 2 credit cards, which would be $225. So as you get to the higher debts with the higher balances, you're paying more and more on each of them every single month. Hence the same concept as if you roll a snowball down a mountain and it increases in size as it gets to the bottom. The snowball method. Alternatively, you have the more dramatic form, which is the avalanche method. So instead of attacking different forms of debt, in this example, different credit cards by their balances, you attack them by their interest rates. And that's really important because if you go with an avalanche method, you could potentially be saving a lot more money in the long run because you're focusing more on the credit that has a higher interest rate, which if you attack at that moment and you're able to pay extra, and then the next one has a little bit less interest rate, and then so on and so forth, again, you could be saving yourself a lot of money. Even though the avalanche method can be really beneficial as far as paying off your credit cards and saving you money, it can also be pretty misleading. One thing you have to keep in mind if you decide to use the avalanche method to pay off multiple credit cards, for example, is the balances on each of those credit cards. For example, you could have one credit card that has a really high balance but a really low interest rate, and then you could have another credit card that has a really high interest rate but a really low balance. You're probably gonna have to do a little bit of math to determine which card's gonna cost you more based off the interest rates and the balances. But the easier way to determine this is to look at the statements for each card or each debt that you have. Typically, as far as credit cards go, it'll tell you somewhere on the statement something along the lines of, if you pay the minimum balance on this card for the duration of the card, it will take you X amount of years to pay it off. So whichever one takes you longer, pay that one off first. For me, I'm probably gonna go more with the avalanche method. I typically pay a bit more each month on each credit card, but whichever one has a higher interest rate, I'm gonna attack that one more so it can save me more money in the future. Second category is the investing goal. My first goal is going to be, of course, to continue to invest $25 a week into my dividend paying portfolio until more things happen with my income, whether I get a raise or other things like that, especially with having to have more bills that I have now after moving into a house. So that'll be one goal of mine. But on top of that, I wanna make sure I'm investing into the best potential dividend paying stocks that I can. I actually made a video a couple weeks ago about my dividend portfolio and how much it paid me this year, or in this case last year, just investing $25 a week. So hopefully $25 a week can at least get me up to what my goal of this year is, which is $300 in annual dividends, which is about $25 a month. Now, I suspect that I will go past that, but that's just taking into account that this year isn't great in the stock market, and we may have companies that decrease their dividend payout, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We'll just have to wait and see. But ultimately, that is my goal. I think $300 is a pretty sound amount for me to make based on the money I'm putting into it in passive income, or just income I'm making doing absolutely nothing. Another goal of mine is I actually want to start contributing money to my Roth IRA. I really don't talk about it much on the channel, and I can if you guys want me to, leave comments below, but I do have a Roth IRA with Fidelity. For those of you guys that don't know, a Roth IRA is very similar to a traditional 401k, except for one, you do not need an employer to get it, and two, instead of being taxed when you pull the money out like you would in a 401k, you're taxed as you put money in, which can be really beneficial, especially if you're someone that feels like you're gonna be making more money as you get older. Because as you make more money, you go into a higher tax bracket, and the higher tax bracket you are, the more money you're gonna be charged in taxes every single year for your income. Now, in my Roth IRA, I'm investing into the VTI ETF, the one that virtually watches the entire stock market. I do make dividends from that, and I reinvest those dividends, but since I transfer money from an old 401k into it, I have not contributed into it, and I've had it for a few years. So my goal is to at least contribute $100 a month if I'm able to budget into it. We'll say between $50 to $100 a month. My third category is my income goals. Now, my first goal is to add at least one new source of consistent income. I currently have two with my regular job and a job that I do on the side, but I want to at least add one more. Hopefully it can be something like YouTube, where I'm consistently creating content that I enjoy and that benefits you guys and keeps you guys watching. We can build such a great community. Hopefully that's something that can help actually build consistent income. But you know, hopefully I can rely on something else as well, maybe mess around and get two sources of income. But that is my first goal. My second goal is gonna have a lot to do with my savings account. It's gonna be hard to determine this now because my financial life and situation has changed over the past few days. So once I figure out my budget, my goal is to use that budget to determine what my monthly living expenses are. And my goal is to be able to save at least 3 months worth of living expenses. There are a lot of websites that recommend you save at least 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. I think I've seen other websites that say 1 year, but I'm aiming for at least those 3 months in the event that something happens to where I lose my job or I'm not able to work for a period of time. I have that to help support me for a little while. And it can be a lot easier to save that money based on the type of savings account you put your money into. There are a lot of savings accounts that don't give you an APR or APY or dividends for keeping your money into them, but there are a few that do, especially a few that are a lot higher than the most. For example, Ally Bank, that's a bank that I talk about a lot. They actually have an online savings account that I believe pays a dividend of at least 2% every single year, which is really high. I recently also learned that American Express has a savings account that last time I checked has a dividend of around 3% that it pays to you every single year. So that might be a savings account I gravitate more towards to help make me money just for having money put in that account as I'm trying to save it over the given period of time. So hopefully 3 months worth of living expenses. We'll see what happens. All this is to hopefully support the ultimate goal that I have for 2023 when it comes to my finances. And that goal is to have a net worth of $0. That sounds really ridiculous because zero is essentially nothing. But first of all, you could have a negative net worth, which is what I have right now because debt and because of recent changes. But a $0 net worth is actually really cool. Your net worth is obviously taking all of your assets and taking all your liabilities and subtracting it from each other. Everything you feel like has value minus everything that is causing you to pay to keep it. And whatever number that is, that's your net worth. So having a $0 net worth essentially means if you liquidated everything that you own in your possession that is worth something and you put it towards paying off all the things that you owe, all the debts you have, all your liabilities, you would have nothing. You wouldn't be in debt, but you would ultimately have nothing. So you're in a position to where when you get your next check, you're automatically in the green. So my goal is to have a net worth of $0. Hopefully it's more, but that is the standard for 2023. Speaking of standards, what are your financial goals? Make sure you leave those in the comments below. I'm sure they're gonna be a lot different from mine, or they may be the same, but regardless, how do you plan on accomplishing those goals? Of course, I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot as I go along, and I'm learning a lot from you guys as well. So hopefully the goal of this channel is that we all create a community to help each other out and make sure that we can all be in a better position to become wealthy and maybe retire early and just be in a better financial position than we were yesterday. So I appreciate you guys watching. Of course, have a happy new year. And until next time, take care.